Hello, everybody. It is Tuesday, the 16th of December. Before I start, I got a donation yesterday and just in time. Thank you so much. Uh, I'm sitting here and I'm doing these videos, but my truth is at the moment that I'm in an extremely difficult situation. Especially now, coming up to Christmas, it is looking absolutely dire right now. And yes, any help will be greatly appreciated. And I can see the contradiction myself. If I'm sitting here saying we are great, powerful beings, we can manifest, which I believe. I absolutely believe. Yet I'm sitting here asking for money. Yeah, so anybody would say, well, if you believe that, I'm saying it myself. If you believe that, why don't you just do it? Why are you sitting here asking for donations? I'm not ready. And that is just the whole of the truth. I am not ready to go on that path. And we're being pushed. Humanity is being pushed to go on that path. And many do. Many explore already these, capabilities, especially when it comes to knowing other entities. Yeah? We're being pushed into that way, in a big way as well. And yes, before we go, we need to know what it is we're doing. We need to know what it is we are and what it is we are doing. And if we are not going from a sound foundation, we will go horribly wrong. We have already gone horribly wrong in the past. That is why the world is in the state that it is in. And I heard a wise man once say, if you really are in a shed, the biggest mistake you could make is to think that it can't get any worse. That from here, the only way is up. I don't think it is. I think we can sink a lot deeper than where we are already, unless we are of sound judgment about what it is we're doing. I don't think we have hit rock bottom yet. We're very close, but I don't think we've hit it yet. So, and this is what I want to talk about today, and that is being of sound judgment. And what it means to be in sin. What it truly means for us to be in sin. Because the wages of sin is death. It is. Make no mistake. You do wrong, you will die. We go any more wrong and we will die as a species. So, let's think about this. What our sin, and we are in sin, many are in sin, what the sin actually is. Because from the start, right now in this world, we are being programmed. We have been hacked and we are being programmed into a knowledge of good and bad. Because according to Christian doctrine, sin is not doing the will of God. Not to obey God is sin. And we're talking about the biblical God, which is not the creator of all. It is only another being. And if you go by that definition, sin is not doing, being in sin, missing the mark, is not doing the will of that biblical God. Because he is the creator of you, or is the creator of all, and his will must be done. Then we come to this point where if God commands you to go into a country, into a land, kill all the people, take their houses, take their vineyards, take their olive groves, that becomes right and righteous. Righteous. You are in the righteous will of God. You are a good being if you go and kill your brother, because God commands it. And that is as screwed up as you can get. I mean, you can hear it in this world. I mean, they're actually saying it. It is the will of God. Let's go and do it. It is righteous. So, man is in sin. Absolutely, we are in sin. We are in sin because we are doing the will of that God. That is our sin. And it is actually, you need to think about how we got here. And here actually comes our abilities, our extended abilities being used in the wrong way. And what you're being told as, we should all be doing it. Yeah, we should all expand awareness. There's so much more out there. We are on such a narrow band of consciousness, like we are imprisoned here. And we should all expand awareness to go out there, to know and be known again. Biblical. That is biblical. The prophets were channelers. This is biblical, and this is where humanity went horribly wrong. Because we did not realize our own sin, which is not standing in our own truth. I heard a woman, it's a lovely channel, forgotten her name at the moment. I'm dreadful with names, I'm sorry, I really should know, but I'm dreadful with names. And she said to judge any part of ourselves, to judge ourselves in that way is actually being disrespectful to the Creator, which I would fully agree with. Yeah, it might serve the biblical God, but it is disrespectful to the Creator of all, because we are what we are, and we were created to be what we are. So in judgment of ourselves, we are judging the Creator. And whereas I would go and judge the biblical God, no problem, I think judging the Creator of all itself is way above my pay grade. I'm not going there. So we are what we are, and then what purpose should that serve? Now in this world, it should be very clear. Nature should tell you, should teach you what you should be. The judgment, again, the wrong judgment of everything around you. At work, I've got this woman who will judge spiders all the time. Especially, going from, her reasoning is nothing should have that many legs. It's just not right. Well, apparently something was created to have eight legs. I'm sorry, but it was created to be that. And it's not for you to judge that. The only way we can judge something in this world is by the impact it has on everything else. There, right and wrong will show itself. Yeah? If it contributes in a good way to the sustainability of all, it is good. And anything beyond that is your own personal like and dislike, and that really shouldn't come into it. So every creepy crawly in this world is good. They all fulfill a function. Everything is there for a reason, to sustain the whole and therefore sustain itself. That is the way of this world. That is the truth of this world. That is the law of this world. And if you are destructive in this world, you will be destroyed. That is also a law in this world. The wages of sin is death. Now, we were created in what we are to fit into this world. I mean, even if there was an intervention at some point, I think there was an intervention at some point, which by the looks of us gave us the ability for speech, a greater ability to reason, but that should not have changed what we are in essence. It should have given us a greater ability to realize what we are in essence, self-awareness, knowledge of self. It should have given us a greater ability to express, to give to each other the knowledge of what it is we are. And that should have been helpful, or at least there should have been no harm in that. But again, the ability to reason, it is the Isaiah moment. God says, come and reason with me. Yeah? If you do as I tell you, I will give you the riches of the land. You go up against me and I will destroy you. And then what God says becomes righteous, or at least in a way, they could say, well, there's something so much more powerful than yourself, so it is of sound reasoning to do as you're told. And it is not in the long run. It will destroy you. Sound reasoning is to stand in your own truth. And it is hard for one person to stand in its own truth, which is why we need to stand with each other in our truth. Yeah, there cannot be, you cannot stand there and wait for one to go and do it for you. One is weak. We're only strong when we are many. And we are many. I mean, compared to them, we are many. If we stand in our own truth, there's nothing they can do. But that is our sin. So, and as I said, if we now come to an awareness, a greater awareness of what it is we are, our spiritual being, our energy being, and what can be done with that, then we really need to go out of this false judgment first. Yeah, we need to do, and we are influenced by it. We are influenced by the word. Yeah, it has created a program. We need to get out of that program first. We absolutely must, or we will go wrong on speed. We are totally destructive as we are in the physical. We will become destroyers on speed unless we've sorted this out first. And that is what I say, I'm not ready. I need to sort this out first. So I want to again speak especially, and here's something where we go into sin, and that is we deny ourselves. We judge a part of ourselves, which is wrong. We are what we are. Yeah? Judgment should come from I am. And I am is what it says. I am is not out there. The great I am out there. No, forget it. It is what it says. It's you. It's me. We are I am. So the way of knowing, again, and here's the way of channeling. The way of knowing another entity somewhere out there. Jesus showed a way to know what he called his Father in heaven. and that is not to judge and to get rid of your fear. And you will know my Father in heaven. So if something tells you the only way to know them is by getting rid of one of your own emotional energies, then you're already shifting from your truth. Because fear is a part of what you are. That is a part of your truth. So if you know others by denying, by suppressing a part of yourself, you have already shifted from your truth, which means you are in sin. You are no longer hitting the mark of I am, because fear is part of who you are. And that is actually true for any shift they're asking you to do. I mean, that is an energetic shift inside of yourself that will lead to a shift in consciousness. But you're already denying your own truth. It is true for fear. It is true for any kind of energy that we have. If something tells you you must shift and become all love, that is just as wrong. Because we are not all love. I said it many times. If you're just love, you have total tunnel vision. You can only see what is good, and that is not the fullness of the truth of reality. You are well capable of seeing the fullness by using all of your energies. As a counsel, every energy gives of its knowledge. So you shift just into love. You're just as much in sin as you are any other way. That is sin. That is not the truth. That is not the truth of who we are. So again, there is our sin, the denial of ourselves. And here, when it comes to channeling or the knowing others, the greater awareness through the way of being in sin. And should we do that? We can. We obviously can. We can shift our energies. We can be more in one and less in another. And again, we should be the masters of it. We should know what it is we're doing. But to actually destroy a part of yourself, or destroying all other parts of yourself apart from love, then you are in sin. And that is the sin of man, the denial of self, not standing in our own truth, suppressing our own truth to what? To have awareness of others. And why? Because you're going to take that deal. If you do as I tell you, I will give you the riches of this world. To become a servant that will be richly rewarded, going against your own truth. Again, we're programmed to think that is good. We're programming our children to think that is good. God must be obeyed. That is good. We need to get rid of this program before we do anything else. Because we could be easily, subconsciously influenced by that program, not aware. And it will lead us in the wrong way. So coming back just for a minute, what David Icke says, we are on this really narrow band. Yes, that means we can only see according to ourselves. And ourselves is according to this world. And anything that is different from us could be extremely harmful to this world. So we should not let it in. It is not greater awareness to know something that is destructive. It's any knowledge, enlightened knowledge, as long as you know it. Or I've expanded awareness and I now know evil. And that is, you're going up in consciousness? I don't think so. I think you've just taken a big fall. So again, just because we can doesn't mean we should. And if we cannot stand in our own truth, we should not expand what we are. But bad enough as it is, in the physical. See, got this common scripture is playing itself out. No, scripture should not play itself out. Scripture is the word. The word should not rule over us. We are not the slaves of the word. We've been influenced, yes, but we have the capability of judging from the stance of I am. We can judge. And we most certainly do not have to do according to the word. Those are choices that we make. That we are actually, in a way, we are self-determining. Because we make the choice to be a slave. But then we're missing the mark of what we are. If we become slaves, if we become blind followers, we have to miss the mark of what we are. We are in sin if we do that. Sin is following the commandments of the biblical God. That is sin. And the way to life is being what we are. Because we know right and wrong according to this world, because we are according to this world. And that's the only way to life. Yeah, right and wrong, being in sin, to get the proper meaning, to follow the correct law. The law of the biblical God is not of this world. And you know them by their fruit. And we know the fruit in this world. It is death and destruction. We must become aware again of the proper law, of the proper rules, of the proper knowledge of good and bad. Both in the physical and when we expand awareness, because it does not change. The law does not change. We must expand from what we are, from the knowledge of what we are. And I so often wonder, I really wonder, where are the others? Where are the others, those that are truly like us? And why don't we know them? Why do we only seem to know the destructive head cases out there? We would know the others that are like us if we are our own truth. The reason we don't know them is because we have shifted from our own truth. And the only thing we're connected to is something that is totally destructive. I would say if we return to our own truth and stand in it in its fullness, and then be on that bandwidth that we are, that is our truth. That's not a prison, that's our truth. I think then we would start to know others that are actually like us, that are on the same bandwidth. Again, I say I'm not ready. I don't think humanity is ready because humanity is totally deluded. And expanding awareness will lead you to knowledge of those that are also totally deluded. That's all you will know, according to yourself. So to use those abilities correctly, and especially in the way of channeling, of knowing others, we would first have to find our way back to our own truth and then go from there. And as long as we are not at that point of being our own truth, we shouldn't be going anywhere. Which is why I'm sitting here doing nothing and asking for donations. I'm sorry. I believe all these things to be true, but you have to find it in yourself first. You have to sort yourself out. You need to bring this house in order before you go anywhere. And I'm just feeling I'm not there yet. I'm doing the works of getting out of sin, getting out of wrong programming, back to the truth of I am. I just feel that I'm not there yet. Not completely. And in this state, I should not be doing anything. I'd be folly to do so. It's folly for humanity as a whole to do so. You're launching yourself from a crooked foundation. The rocket of your light is going to go sideways, because that's what happens to rockets when you launch them from crooked foundations. They're not going where you think they will go. And then you wonder why. How did I get here? How did it all go wrong? You were in sin, that's why. Anyway, here folks, I leave it at that for today. And I hope humanity will find its way back to the light of its own truth. And stop shifting, judging itself, shifting and being influenced by things that are not our truth. And they are not greater. You know them by their fruit. Destruction is not greatness. Anyway, here, I leave it at that. And I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.